Today, we're going to do something pretty cool. We're going to build a digital brain, and we're going to teach it to solve a massive, multi-billion-dollar puzzle that honestly affects almost everyone: how to figure out the price of a house.
I mean, think about it for a second. It sounds like such a simple question, right? But the answer, well, it's anything but. Whether you're trying to buy a new place, sell your current one, or just figure out where you stand financially, trying to pin down that one magic number is a huge and, let's be honest, kind of stressful challenge.
Just try to list all the things that matter. You got the location, obviously, the square footage, how many bedrooms, the age of the roof, even the school district it's in. It's this giant puzzle with dozens, maybe even hundreds, of pieces that all fit together in some weird, complicated way.
And that right there is what we call the price prediction problem. How do we take all of this chaotic, messy information and somehow turn it into a single, reliable number?
This is where things get really interesting. Instead of a person trying to juggle every single one of those factors in their head, what if we could build a machine, a digital brain, that could just look at all that data and learn to see the hidden patterns, the subtle connections between, say, the number of bathrooms and the final price?
So, how in the world do you teach a machine to do something like that? Well, it's not magic. It's actually a very methodical process of just showing it a ton of examples and letting it figure out the rules for itself.
The specific tool we're going to use here is a technique called regression. Now, I know that sounds super technical, but the idea behind it is actually really simple. Instead of asking our AI a yes or no question, like, is this house expensive, we're asking it to predict a very specific number on a sliding scale. And in our case, that number is the price.
So here's our game plan, broken down into 4 clear steps. First, we need data, a lot of it. We'll be using a classic data set of homes in Boston. Step 2, we actually build the brain, which is a type of AI called a neural network. Third, and this is the important part, we train it by showing it thousands of examples. And finally, we'll put it to the test and have it make a prediction.
All right, so we've got our plan. Now let's move from the what to the how. Let's peek under the hood and see what this so-called digital brain is actually made of. The structure we're using is called a fully connected neural network. You can really think of it just like a human brain. Our brains have neurons that connect to each other, right? Well, this AI has digital neurons that are all organized into different layers, and each layer gets really good at spotting different kinds of patterns in the data. The real thinking, the heavy lifting, happens right here, in what are called the hidden layers. Our model has 2 of these, and each one has 64 neurons. This is where the AI does its most complex work, finding all those subtle connections. It's kind of a sweet spot. It's powerful enough to find those tough patterns, but not so big that it takes forever to train.
And then, after all that complex processing through the hidden layers, everything gets funneled down to just one single neuron at the end. Its only job is to spit out one single number, our final predicted price. That's the regression part we talked about, right there in action.
So, how does the model actually get smarter? Well, it uses something called an optimizer. The best way to think about it is like a personal trainer for the AI. After every single guess, the trainer looks at how far off the prediction was. Then it goes back and makes tiny little adjustments to all the connections inside the network, telling it, hey, this connection was helpful, let's make it stronger. This one over here wasn't, let's weaken it. It does that thousands and thousands of times to get better with every single guess.
All right, so the brain is built, and its learning strategy, its personal trainer, is in place. Now it's time for the main event. Let's put this AI to work and see if it can actually learn from all that data.
Now, the training process isn't just a one-and-done kind of thing. The AI actually goes through the entire set of housing data 100 different times. Each full pass is called an epoch. And with every single epoch, it gets a little bit smarter, it refines its understanding, and its predictions get a little bit more accurate.
So after 100 rounds of studying, what was the result? Well, the model landed on a mean absolute error of 2.56. In this particular dataset, that means that, on average, its final prediction was off by just $2,560. For something as tricky as a house price, that's remarkably good.
And you can really see that whole learning journey right here. On the left, when the model first started, its error was huge. I mean, it was basically just guessing randomly. But as it went through those 100 training rounds, you can just see that error bar plummet, which proves it was really, truly learning from the data.
But here's the thing. The real power of this AI technique goes so much further than just figuring out house prices. This is an incredibly versatile tool. You can use this exact same approach to predict the resale value of a car,
or to forecast how much energy a city is going to need next summer, or even try to anticipate stock market trends. Basically, any problem where you need to predict a specific number can be tackled with this kind of AI.
And that's really why this all matters. This isn't just some cool academic project. These regression models are fundamental tools that are used every single day in finance, in engineering, in business, all to make smarter, data-driven decisions that really do shape our world.
So we've just watched an AI learn how to make a really complex human judgment call with some pretty impressive accuracy. And it kind of leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? What's the next human decision it's going to learn to make?